G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. And when I say here, I mean literally here, where the interior track crosses the northwest corner of the first burn in the Hazard Reduction Burn Solo Operations series, which I conducted and posted on the 4th of June. And the camera's point of view is looking in that direction there. And just for the fun of it, I've gone to the trouble of laying the map out magnetically according to the compass at the current magnetic variation of 11.8 degrees east. So you might almost say to the untrained eye, it looks as if it needs to be burnt again. But all that dry blady grass that shows there at the moment, when I burnt it nearly 2 months ago, that's all the grass that was on the day, green. And it was the moisture in that grass which prevented the burn from being any hotter than it was. And when you really look at it, unless you've got a really strong wind, it's hard for a flame to cross that. Perhaps the best way to appreciate the hazard reduction factor that's been achieved here is to compare this with the fuel potential of that blady grass over there, which on me is almost waist high at the moment. And this is what the blady grass on burn area number 1 was like before I got to it on the 4th of June. So in relative terms, I reckon it can be considered a success, although in absolute terms, I acknowledge there remains some risk on a hot day with a strong wind that this would go again. And my theory is I'm probably better off taking to it with the field slasher and a string and just laying it all down flat for sheet mulch rather than leave it stand up. Okay, so now at the corner of 3, 2 and 1, so to speak, because that was burn 2, which happened out in there, and it wasn't a perfect burn because once again there was a fair bit of greenery in there that didn't burn on the day, particularly in that stand of tea tree. And because it didn't burn on the day didn't mean that it didn't die on the day. So once again, in with the whippersnipper. Although perhaps the stuff in the tea tree stand, I could possibly get a permit to burn, and I might do it when it's dry enough because it's surrounded by an effectively blacked out area. And before the really bad weather gets here, if we don't get rain, I'll sheet mulch. Okay. And now on the border of 2 and 3, turn the camera around to orient with real life. And I can't see the pencil, so I'll use my finger. Over there is burn 2, over there is burn 3. And some of the stuff that was too wet to burn nearly 2 months ago lies in there. And I would really like to have a crack at that. And maybe, such shall be the case. But even though there's a lot of dry sticks and leaves, there's really not any serrated tussock grass or anything to set it on fire and get it hot enough to burn. And this is an example of one of the places where I did manage to get it to burn a bit, but it was just too cold and too humid for the fire to go through here. Although it can't be denied that I tried. And I didn't do a bad job of getting all that stuff to burn. On the boundary of 2 and 5, looking up across burn 2 onto burn 1. Not a bad execution of a hazard reduction. And as you can see, this time I've burnt up the slope onto a blacked out area. So I only needed a wet line where I was starting it off, and I used the black spot to catch the burn. Then, using the black spot of burn 2 and burn 1 as a catching zone, I started lighting up there, came down here, and with the wind coming in from the east, I think, I burnt across here for a bit and then straight up there, and that was too green to burn. So that got me burn 3. Down across there. From memory, I had the camera on a tripod with a fixed field of view as I commenced lighting up along there, and then I changed its field of view across to about there, perhaps. Maybe like that. Okay, so we're walking the boundary between burn 3, which is on your right, oops, and across here, burn 5 was on the left. Each time I'd used wallaby tracks to anchor the wet lines, and now looking up the edge of burn 3, there we go, that's the wallaby track that ran over there. Going by memory, that's burn 3 and that is burn 4. Running down along this wallaby track to where we are here. Just there. With burn 4 over across there. Quite a dense patch of blady grass it was, and it was necessary to anchor that before progressing. From here down along that wallaby track, wherein burn 5's on the left, right, and burn 8 was on the right. And while the edges of the track burnt quite well, the country inside there mostly refused to burn. Can't say I blame it, it was pretty wet on the day. Okay, so we are now there. And if we look along that wallaby trail, and burn 5 on the left and unburnt country on the right, takes us down to the dam. And as you can see, there is a little bit of water in there, but not much. We have 1 month of alleged winter to go, even though the annual bushfire danger season has already officially commenced on the 1st of August, which is, whoopsie, forgot the camera's got to be this way up, which is kind of an interesting idea, because when I was a kid, the bushfire danger season started at the end of September. About 10 or 15 years ago, it commenced at the start of September. Now it commences at the start of August. 2 months early, because winter is so warm and so dry. I wonder what the global warming climate science denialists have got to say about that minor fact of life. Anyway, on with the survey. I think you'll agree that that represents a greater fire danger than that does. Just at a glance, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was, and I might burn it again next year and try and open the country up a bit, get rid of some of the tangled thicket effect. So that was burn 5, so it was. Okay, so there's the dam, looking straight down the gully which feeds the dam. On the right we have burn 5, on the left we have burn 6. And we're now looking at the boundary between burn 5 and burn 3. Back to the gully view. And we are here, looking over there. And once again, I was able to burn some of the little thickets of dry sticks and leaves, particularly where there were tufts of serrated tussock. That particular one has been singed and burnt. The fire did not get to that one, coming from there. But a great deal of fuel was reduced. It's not a perfectly blacked out area. What it is the proverbial slow, cold, mosaic burn. Just like the textbook says one is supposed to strive for. Still backing off from burn 6. And we're now at a point roughly halfway between the aeroplane trailer and the dam. over there, on the other side of the tea tree bush, there's the aeroplane trailer. And if we pan down, turn 90, 180 degrees, and look through there, we have the dam. And here we have bird area from early June, whereas over here we have a much more recent burn from last week. Part of burn 22 and 23. Okay, standing here at the junction of burn 5 and burn 8, but before I could do burn 8, I had to have something on the other side of burn 4 to catch it. Just a little patch over there that I was worried about. So that became burn 7. So we have burn 8 in that 90-degree quadrant there, unburnt country to the left, I'm pretty sure you can see the difference. So in order to catch hold of burn 8, I had to do burn 7 first. So up here is the junction. Right, so here we are here at the corner of burn 7, which was fairly small, but I thought it was necessary. So I wet lined up that wallaby track and burnt the right hand side of it. Back down to here and across there over the top of the log. Burnt the left hand side on a totally different occasion to when I burnt the right hand side, because I had to burn into there before coming back out to there. So we have burn 7 running along there, and then a day later we have burn 8 coming down along there, because that stuff in there was head high and we had flames going quite high up the trees, and I really didn't want that burn over there to get out into that sort of country where I personally haven't got the ability to stop a fire. I can just start them with precision and know where they're going to run out. You have to box a little bit careful when you're on your own and you haven't got a lot of water and you can't afford to burn a sacred fence line. Okay, so that's burns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And basically I thought that was a pretty good start for the first burn notification. I think, allowing for the fact that this movie is starting to get pretty long and this camera is a lot better than the one that I have been uploading on, I might call it a halt here, and I'll start a separate movie for the second burn notification program, and we'll go over and have a look at burn 9 and subsequently, working merrily all their way up to burn number 18, all of which happened on permit number 2. But here we are. There's a bit of a tease. Hello Ant, you're on YouTube. At the northwestern corner of burn 9, and looking up along the edge to the tree that shows how I indeed got 25-foot flames out of bloody grass in the second week of winter. Below that, I cannot tell a lie, I misspoke, the fourth week of winter. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Here endeth the video of the burns conducted in the first permit burn notification series. Ciao.